It has been a while since we looked at a board-style grow light, but when Phovivis reached out to see if we wanted to take a look at their OptiGrow X240, it looked really interesting. I obviously said yes, so let's take a look at what comes with this light and see how it does in a 2x2 tent. You know I am a sucker for good packaging, and this light came double boxed, which means that it should survive whatever terrible treatment the shipping company will throw at it. Inside of the brown cardboard box is this silver one, and then inside of that is the light and its accessories. The first thing you will see is the documentation, including the user manual, product spec sheet, and the quick install guide. I am obviously going to ignore them all and get right into the good stuff. First up is a pair of gloves that you can wear while handling the light, and even though I have pretty good sized hands, they did fit me when I tried them on later. Next up is the 10-foot long power cord, which feels like it is very good quality, and that should be plenty of power cord for most installations. After that is the connector cable for using an external controller, followed by a pair of ratcheting hangers to get it mounted in your tent. With those out of the way, we can pull off the top layer of foam and get our first look at the light itself. It is inside of a plastic bag that will need to be removed, and the clamshell of foam is a really nice touch that will definitely keep it safe in shipping. This is a very solid light, and the integrated solid metal heat sink fins that we can see on the back here should help keep it cool, even under full power. The integrated hanging points will make it very easy to mount in the tent with the included ratcheting hangers, and you can see the control knobs on one side of the light with the power plug on the other side. Flipping the light over, and we can get a look at all of the various LED sections with their integrated optical lenses. These are going to be controlled in separate banks, some by the bloom dial, with the others controlled by the veg dial. We can take a closer look at the back side of the light, and you can see the heat sink, integrated hangers, and the veg and bloom dials that are clearly marked. If you want to use an external controller, you would set both dials to the EXT mark, otherwise you just set each dial to the desired output. On the other side of the light, you can see the power plug, along with the controller ports that you would use for external control, or to daisy chain multiple lights together to control them all. Looking at the business side of the light again, you can see that the type of lights that each dial controls along the bottom for both veg and bloom, and then each of the sets will tell you if they are controlled by channel 1 or channel 2. Channel 1 is controlled by the veg dial, and channel 2 is controlled by the bloom dial. With both of the dials turned on, this is what the light will look like from below. If you have both dials set to 100, all of the light banks will be on, and the light will be pulling 215 watts from the wall. With only the bloom dial turned on, you can see that the light color is definitely more reddish yellow, and only about half of the lights are still on. With the bloom dial turned all the way to 100, but the veg dial turned off, the light will be pulling about 105 watts from the wall. With only the veg dial turned on, you can now see that the light is more of a blue-white color, and the other half of the lights are turned on. With the veg dial turned all the way to 100, but the bloom dial turned off, the light will be pulling about 110 watts from the wall. First up, we are going to be measuring the par levels with the OptiGrow X240 hung at 12 inches above the sensor. And if you look at the par map on the right side of the screen, you can see how we are showing the relationship between the size of the grow light and the size of the tent. The green square is the 2-foot by 2-foot footprint of the tent, and the shape of the light is shown with the gray shape in the center of the map. One thing to remember with our light measurements is that we are doing them in an actual grow tent and not in some controlled environment, so these numbers reflect what you will see in real-life usage, not in some perfect marketing world. This light is about 14 inches by 14 inches, which means that there is going to be about 6 inches between the edges of the light and the tent walls. With that kind of space between the light and the tent walls, you are going to see some light drop off in the corners and the left and right sides at these lower hanging heights. The central area is sitting at a blistering 2,489 par, with the levels across the entire center of the tent being fairly high, but then dropping off as we get away from the center of the tent, which is not surprising with the size of the light inside of here. Moving the light up to 18 inches away from the sensor shows the par levels in the center of the tent dropping in a pretty even fashion, but the light levels around the edges of the tent are increasing. This is what you are going to see when a light doesn't fill the space of the tent and is completely normal. We are looking at 1,510 par in the center, while the far corners have come up to between 600 and almost 800 par. The light levels in the center of the canopy at both 12 and 18 inches are going to be pretty high for most plants, and it can be a real pain to work on your plants under a light that is this close anyways, so I usually recommend to have your light hung a bit higher than this if you can. If you do want to use them at this hanging height, however, I would really recommend using the dimming function to reduce the brightness. You have a real chance of light burning your leaves with par levels this high. Looking at the power draw of this light, we were pulling 215 watts from the wall with both dials turned all of the way to 100, and we tested it at multiple other light levels as well to give you an idea of how much power it will pull from the wall at different settings. With both dials set to 80, the light was pulling 194 watts from the wall. When we moved it to 60 on both dials, the light was pulling 133 watts. With the dials set to 40, the light was pulling 96 watts from the wall. Finally, moving the setting down to 20 on the dials brought the power draw to 52 watts. I also tested out the power draw when only using the veg or bloom dials, and they are not quite split evenly. Setting the veg dial to 100, but the bloom dial to 0 will have the light pulling 110 watts from the wall. Flipping that around with the bloom dial set to 100 with the veg set to 0 will have the light pulling 105 watts from the wall. Next up, we are going to move the light to 24 inches above the sensor, and in the center of the tent we are still going to see just over 1,000 par, with the numbers in the corners staying just about the same as we raise the light. Depending on what you are growing or what stage of growth you are in, these light levels might make a lot of sense, though they may still be a bit high. We did a lot of measurements with the light dimmed as well as at full power, which is what the par X numbers that you see are for. With the light hanging at 24 inches like this, and the center par level at 1051 with the light turned all the way up, the way to figure out what the levels would be at a different setting is to multiply the par reading by the par X number that matches the setting that you want. Let's say that we have the light set to 60 on both dials, then we would multiply 1051 by the par X number, which for 60 would be 0.67, giving us 704 par. You can do that with any of the readings on these charts, and that should get you pretty close to the right par level for any of the dimmer settings. If you are just using either the bloom or veg dials individually, you can also use the multipliers shown on the screen to calculate that as well. With the same example, having only the veg dial set to 100, multiplying 1051 by 0.55 would give us 578 par. Now that we have moved the light up to 30 inches above the sensor, we are seeing a maximum of 831 par in the center area, with the light levels evening out pretty well across the entire canopy at this point. With the light hung at this height, you would have a ton of space to actually take care of your plants under the light, and would still have more than enough light for almost anything that you would want to grow, no matter what stage it is at. It has been quite a while since we checked out a light that still has settings for both bloom and veg, but I actually really like it with this light as it gives you a lot of flexibility with deciding now just how much light your plant is getting, but what spectrum of light it is getting as well. Next up, we have the light hung at 36 inches above the sensor, and we are looking at 728 par in the center area of the tent, with around 600 along the edges. These are actually pretty solid numbers considering how far from the sensor the light is at this point. While I would usually say that you shouldn't be hanging the light this far from the plants, these numbers are still at the high end for many plants that you may be growing, and the levels across the board are actually very decent. You could definitely make it all of the way through veg with photoperiod plants with these light levels, and a lot of autoflowers would do really well from start to finish. At these light levels, you could even still flower out a lot of photoperiod plants, which is pretty incredible. Finally, we are going to take a look at this light hung at 48 inches above the sensor, and we can see that we are still at almost 600 par in the center of the tent, with the outer edges between 400 to 500 par. For the amount of electricity you would be using having this light at full blast hung at this height, I would not really recommend using it like this. If these are the light levels that you are looking for with your specific plants, you would be much better off hanging the light at 30 inches with the dial set to 60, as you would be using almost half the electricity while still getting fairly similar light levels. That is the benefit to using a light with a dimming function. You can really save quite a bit on electricity costs by simply dimming the light a bit. The other upside to not running your light at the max level is that you will see some serious reductions in the amount of heat the light is putting out as well, which can really help if you are growing in a warmer climate. I have been really impressed with just how much performance we have seen out of the Phovivis OptiGrow X240 grow light inside of this 2-foot by 2-foot tent, and we still haven't even talked about the price. Currently on Amazon, you can pick up this light for $170, which feels like a pretty incredible deal for the light levels that we have seen so far. If you want to check this light out for yourself, I will leave an Amazon Associates link to it in the description and pinned comment down below, so make sure to click on that link if this level of performance at this price point is something that you have been looking for.